Now that we have a path on the map, we can move forward to the hailing process. The hailing process is relatively simple. We tint the UI, show a beacon, and during that time we ask the server for a car. We can start by adding an event handler to the black button from the Enter Navigation Mode method. We are effectively coloring the pin layer to create the tint effect. We added a new blink dot class to implement the pulsing blue dot effect. Another new API, the hail ride method in location service, allows us to hail a ride. Notice I don't show anything when the ride is hailed. I'll add that workflow with the driver app later. There is one UI ID we need to cover here, and it's the searching dialog UI ID. Technically, this UI element isn't a dialog, it is a label, but it looks like a dialog. Padding is pretty standard for a label. We have some margin on the sides to space it out from the edges. Most UI of this UI ID is pretty standard, except for the use of the special mode of the round rect border. The top only mode allows only the top portion to be rounded and the bottom appears square. Usually we use it to combine two borders together with different colors or UI IDs. In this case, we give the component a feel of peeking from the bottom of the form. The font is the standard font, just like any other label. The blink dot class is pretty trivial. I could have used an animated GIF, but instead I just did this. This is mostly for transparency. We don't really use the UI ID here. I use low-level animations here, so the best practice is to register remove with init component /deinitialize. The motion class represents a timed motion between values, which allows us to animate a value from point X to point Y. In this case, I'm just growing the circle using the value. Notice only the animate method mutates values, as the paint method can be invoked more than once per cycle in theory. The drawing logic is mostly hard-coded. I would have used the shape API to get a more refined effect, but it would have made things more complicated.